This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. It is a wonderful time of the year. Things are getting warmer. We're seeing more sunshine, heading into summer. It's all good, but a little stressful for some because it's also a period of change. We have graduations going on, lots of life changes, celebrations as well. More weddings take place this time of the year. And with that comes stress. It's all part of life. Also, change, which many of us fear. We are creatures of habit. Some of us will seek to maybe get some therapy, talk to a counselor, coach. Have you talked to an animal today? I really mean that. An animal can support you with therapy. And we're going to talk to somebody who helps foster that. For many people, she's the woman behind Scatterjoy Acres, which is a unique sanctuary, harnessing the power of healing through animals and connecting with the community. And she's back with us. Joy Bartling joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
Good morning. We are doing wonderful. It's a cool weather day.
Yeah, last time we talked, you were outside, if I remember correctly.
Yep, we did. We did a Zoom outside, correct? Yes.
Nebraska, correct?
Right. We're in Nebraska.
What's the temperature, the weather like today there?
Today we are at like 67 and our high is only supposed to be like 72. So the
Mm.
animals are definitely enjoying it because a couple days ago we had almost 90 and hot. However, it's supposed to be kind of windy today, so
Mm.
hopefully it'll blow in some rain that we definitely need.
We have the same weather in New York. It's 67. It's cloudy. It's very humid. Maybe a shower. Looks like we'll see some sunshine over the weekend. Low 70s. It's like almost exactly the same, minus the wind. The wind hasn't kicked up yet today
Yeah,
here.
yeah. It seems like it's always windy here.
So we're talking about this time of the year and lots of changes coming. All good, all good changes and therapy. And I'm wondering if people this time of the year, you can identify that where they come to you, your sanctuary, wanting to get some insight, some relief, Eve, some therapy. Do you feel that this time of the year it kind of kicks up a bit?
We do feel that we have actually three of the universities that are in our area allow us or ask us, especially during their finals week, if we could bring in animals to help with the stress of, finals and people moving on and life changes. And so we've taken goats to, the gardens, and people have got to hang out with the goats. We have a camel that we take in. We've taken in our, bush babies, our capybara into different facilities at the schools because they get that, 5-10 minutes that they walk through this area and they get to feel and love on animals, which will allow them to de-stress or not think about, the finals that's coming up or the graduation that, the 4, 6, 8 years that they've just put in to get the degree that they want. And now they're wondering, I've done all this hard work. Is there a job out there for me?
Mm.
Because the job market is kind of tough. And so being able to, just love on those animals and understand that life is going to be okay if we just take one day at a time. As
I
well, people come out to the ranch and do the same thing.
I really see this, Joy, in a whole different light. You think of younger children, can be maybe kindergarten, maybe first, second grade, and sometimes at schools they bring in animals. And I always looked at it as, oh, well, yeah, it's cool. I get to see animals up close and, great experience to realize, what animals are and the different species, etc. Never did I ever consider that it's also therapeutic at the same time for those children.
And
Magic.
and some of those children in elementary school, their families don't have pets.
Mm.
And it is a known fact that households that don't have pets have a higher stress um, component in their home because they don't have an outlet to be able to uh, use that aura within them to release it. And so then they go to technology, playing video games and on your phone and social media, which is not always positive in young adults' lives, where they can sit with an animal and be nurtured and showed love unconditionally that we don't always get from our human factors.
Mm. I see it now. I mean, I have pets, but as you're speaking about that, I'm picturing my daily day, even when I come home and when my cats come up to me, they're very loving. I'm very blessed and lucky. Even my dog. And I see that, we take it for granted. If you have pets, you just, we take people for granted too, but you don't
Yes.
realize it. It's, just another day, but no, there's a lot more going on there. When your dog or your cat or whatever animal comes up to you and they're seeking a little bit of comfort too. Sometimes we forget about that.
Yeah, because even pets have trauma, abuse, neglect that happened in their life. And
Mm,
when you choose to be part of that pet's life, you bring it in as a family member. And, people have to work. We understand that. But when you come home, they're just like kids. They want your attention. They want to hang out with you. They're gonna cause, you're on the phone, they're gonna bark. It's just like kids. It seems like when you get on the phone, then they want to, throw toys and run around the house and dogs are the same way. They want your attention
mm.
because they want to give it back to you.
To that point, very briefly, I want to share a quick story. It was about 2 months ago. One of my cats, like 12:30 a.m. I'm asleep. I hear a noise. I hear my daughter scream. I come running down the stairs to find my cat, one of them, and its tail inside a folding table, one of those, snack tables that fold up. Apparently, he was on it, table tipped. As it fell, his tail got caught in it. Now he's dragging this around by his tail. Uh, I can't, the weight of it is just unbelievable. All over. He's peeing all over the place because he's scared. I come down, I look at him. I'm like, all right, let me get you out. It's going to be all right. He bit me because he was freaked out.
Right.
Got him out of it. Was wondering if he broke his tail. The vet said, nothing we can do anyway. Just let it go. See what happens. I let it go. Shortly thereafter. Now this cat was kind of, he's mushy but aloof. My other cat, mushy as that, they're a little bit different. Now he comes up to me. He is loving and sweet. And even when I come down first thing in the morning, he's like, hey, can you feed me? I feed him. At 3 bites, he comes over and it's as if he's like thanking me for the food. Like he comes up, he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he's back over. He never did any of this ever before. I truly feel that he realized that I'm the safe spot. And I said, I got you. I looked in his eyes. I got you. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Yes, I was stressed out. I didn't know what was going on. But point here is they do need us and we take their what they got for granted. We don't realize that they realize what's going on. They got it figured out. Now he's a different cat because I think he feels safer now in my home.
Yeah, you saved him from a situation. And that's as, we rescue hundreds of animals
Mm,
yearly. And those animals, once they build that trust with myself or our staff, um, they they just want to be part of your life. And I know we've had rescue dogs that have come in that were in really bad situations. And they've been here maybe 3 months, 6 months, and they build that trust with me. And then we find the forever home for them. But to them, it's not safe. And they
mm,
go to their new family, and the family tries everything and they call for support. And um, it's like they built that understanding with me because I saved them from a really crappy situation. And why do I want to trust another human? So we can usually work through it. I come over and we do short little visits so they know that I'm still part of the picture. And eventually they will learn to trust that family. But, when they are in bad situations, they love their people. And
mm,
it's the same way now that, we talked about it's that time of year where people are graduating. We talked about people are getting married, the stress of putting on a wedding and for what, how many hours? Maybe 4 or 5 hours in this big hoopla. And if you just have that dog or cat or horse or whatever your animal being may be, just to go and talk to and say, you know what, I'm really stressed and I'm having a crappy day, and can you just love me?
Mm.
Just listen to me. They just want to listen. If they
Yeah,
just listen and they know, they will sit there, they will look at you in the eye. It's like they feel your feelings. They know.
that's the other part of it. Yeah, there's something, call it telepathy, whatever you want to call it, but they are plugged in. Like when people say, my pet, my dog, my cat, I swear they know what I'm thinking. They do.
Mhm.
They
Yep.
really, they do. They're picking up on your vibration. How do they do that? Well, I don't have to worry about all the other stuff that we're worrying about, like life, devices, mortgage, rent, relationships that are, no, they're just focused on the now and checking things
Right.
out. How does it work with, I think it's called AAT, animal assisted therapy?
Mhm.
Is it as simple as just being in the presence of an animal?
I would say yes, if you would just let yourself be in that presence. Unfortunately, people that we work with in our clients, they put more into it than the simplicity of it. They everyone is used to like traditional therapy and all the questions and the answers and role playing and things like that, where if you can just sit in the moment with these animals and allow us to help hold the space, those animals help unfold the crap going on in your life and a solution. Our clients will work out their own solution just listening to the animals. Now, I'm not saying it's just the animals. We also use things like hula hoops and, brushes and different obstacles that they can build, like, pool noodles. We've
Mm.
had individuals that, you know, this pool noodle is your dad. Put that in a circle somewhere. This is your mom. This is your friends at school. And they drop them throughout the arena. And you can tell the ones that are the pool noodles that are closer to the individual are obviously people in their life that are closer to them,
Wow.
where they may have dropped, someone who's been abusive or someone who is not as close to them, on the other side of the arena. And so why is that? Why is that pool noodle, representing whomever it may be over here? And why are these three here and this one may be a little closer? And they just tell us their story, and then we're able to to field that, help them come up with solutions, in order to find out what's the best answer.
Wow. And the animals are part of that.
And the animals are part of it because a lot of times those pool noodles will go back to that. There might be a horse that goes and stands at the farthest away pool noodle that represents that person. So what are you feeling? Why do you think that horse is over there? We never help give them answers. We ask them the questions. What are you feeling? What do
Mm.
when the horses, a lot of times when our groups go in, especially when we're working with at risk youth in groups, we stand outside the gate first, and what do you observe? What do you see that's happening inside the arena? Well, those horses are all standing on the other side by the other gate, looking out as a group. Okay, so now let's walk in. And a lot of times these people are afraid of horses. They're big, they're intimidating. So then all of a sudden the horses start moving towards them, and you can sense, some are okay with it, some are not okay with it.
Mhm.
So then we can open up some dialogue. Well, what are you feeling? What do you think about this horse standing next to you? Those type of things. and it helps with their feelings in different situations.
I love your stories where there is all of them, but especially the interaction. Can you think of a recent time or one that really stands out where an animal really connected with a human? And could be any type of animal, but I remember you told a story before about a little girl that brought me to
Mhm.
tears, and it was her last wish. But the other situations where maybe animals didn't come up to uh, certain people, but then this one particular person, the animal maybe did, and there was a magical connection. Anything stand
So,
out?
yeah, so we do a marriage webinars also, or not webinars, marriage therapy sessions as well. So we had some couples. They had been part of our therapy as couples all week, successful. And they all got to pick a horse that was part of their, therapy process. At the end of this pro their class, the one of the wives came up to me and said, "Can I do some individual therapy? I have some things I need to work on."
Hmm.
Sure. So a couple weeks later, we brought her in. The same horse that her and her husband had worked with is the horse that she wanted to use. The first, it took like 3 days before we could even get her in the arena with the horse by herself. And she had been loving on
Why,
this horse.
why is that?
I'm going to tell you the
Oh,
story.
okay.
Yep.
Steve, Steve, shut up. Okay.
Steve, let me finish the story. Um, this horse was feeling the feelings that were inside of her. There was also a mirror that was we have up in our arena, and the horse would go look in the mirror and it would go back to this gate, to the mirror, back to this gate, away from us. We finally got her into the arena and we told her, you know, he's okay. He's fine. He's not going to harm you. Little by little, she started edging up to the horse that she had loved completely, 2 weeks before. And the long and the short of it is, all he wants is to be let go. He wants the gate open, right? When she opened the gate to release the horse, the trauma that had been in her life, she understood that she also could release out the gate when the horse left.
Wow. Wow. Do you believe it was symbolic and energetic all at the same time?
Yes, the horse was feeding off of her feelings. He sensed her trauma. He sensed her release that this is what she needed to do, which never came up in the sessions with her partner.
I mean, very individual.
But she
Yeah.
also knew in order for it to work with her partner, this was something she had to work on within herself.
What was with the mirror?
The mirror was she kept looking at herself that she was not worthy to be forgiven and let the trauma go.
That was the horse looking in the mirror?
The horse was looking in the mirror.
I'm just verifying that because I'm
Yep.
trying to put it. So, in a way, would you say that the horse was trying to show her something by using the mirror and the gate, call it symbolism or
Yep.
freedom from the traumas and everything within her? How did she describe that? Was it immediate feeling
No,
of,
it wasn't. I mean, it had taken probably 4 or 5 sessions before we were able to get to the root of, because we kept asking her, why is the horse looking in the mirror and then going to the gate? What's going on there? How do you feel about that? And it was hard for her to just say,
hmm,
I have trauma. I was abused. And for me to trust another person, it's hard. I don't feel worthy. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and thinking she allowed this abuse to happen to herself. And so she couldn't forgive herself.
Like it was her fault.
It was her fault, right?
Mm, wow. Thank you for sharing that. Oof.
Yeah.
Out of all the animals, which do you think are, or I don't even know if you can answer this question, the most therapeutic?
Probably the horses because the horses are they're like-minded like the humans. Because horses came from the wild, so their perception of safety and threats and um just being aware of their whole surroundings, they understand humans probably more so internally than other animals do. Other animals know how to love you unconditionally, um, but they have that perception of being part of humans.
Mm, it's it's amazing how they're so quietly stated. You know, your dog can bark and show you things and move around. Same thing with cats.
Right.
But the horse, yeah, they're very quiet. They don't really say much. They're just doing their thing. They're observing, taking it all in. Um, what's in it for the horse? Do they get something out of trying to show somebody, a human, something about themselves and help that person?
I believe they do. I mean, they don't tell me that personally, but you can tell their emotions. Um, and there's times when, horses have taken on the feelings and the frustrations of other individuals. Um, I guess kind of taking on their spirit, and you can tell their demeanor changes. I can have a perfectly tame, well-rounded horse that's always calm. And when we have some bully kids that come into the arena, they're on alert. They're, what's going on, very perceptual of the area. And it's kind of like when they're done, they really kind of hold their head up high, like, I've done something good today for somebody.
Have you ever seen a horse sad?
Yes. When when one of their friends has passed away. We just recently, last summer, I think it was, we had a donkey. She was 28 years old. And I actually was just walking out to the pasture to halter her because she was going to an event. And I heard another donkey braying. And when I got out there she was laying down. She had just passed away.
Was it unexpected or was she sick?
It was unexpected. There was no health issues, nothing. I mean, we were all in shock. Yeah. And so the other donkey actually was her daughter. And she actually, you could tell she grieved for, a few days. We found another donkey for her. But yeah, she grieved the loss of her mom.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just, this is an eye opener. This is an eye opener for all of us, how our animals, the animals in our world are so connected to us. And some of us feel somewhat connected because of pets, but there's a lot more going on out here. Even wild animals.
Mhm.
I believe there are connections. Even that squirrel that just ran across the roadway. And I've spoken to animal communicators that even say, communicate with that animal. You can do it. Um, it's fascinating. And as you've proven, therapeutic and your ranch and everything it offers, the sanctuary is so impactful for the community. How do we find out more? What's the best way, Joy, to learn more about what you're doing, your mission, and everything that is involved?
You bet. Our website is scatterjoyacres.org. That is SCATTERJOYACRES.org. please come check us out. We have many available opportunities on our website, from volunteering to coming to our open petting zoo, as well as, we have Amazon wish lists, we have Chewy wish lists. These things help provide enrichment, and, the animals eat. We got to keep them going. So we'd appreciate any support you could give.
For sure. And every penny well deserved. I don't know how you do what you do with the magnitude that you do it. 88, over 88 animals. And I even if your name wasn't, I would say, and the joy that it brings to many. Joy, thank you so much for today. Truly appreciate it. And keep doing what you're doing, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.